Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I thought I would do a video about a week of reading in my life. I made a video last week about creating a TBR jar because I need to get rid of some of the books on my TBR list. So this week I thought I would try to read 3 books. That's my goal, 3 books this week. And I thought I would take you guys along and let you see which books I'm reading. I'm going to pull them out of this TBR jar and we'll see. So in another video that I did, I already drew one of them and it was number 16 on my TBR list and it was Lights Out in Lincolnwood. So we're definitely going to be reading this one and I would love to show you guys my cute little dinosaur bookmark. How cute is that? Okay. Anyways, so I need to pick 2 more books out of my TBR jar. So let's see which ones we get. One, 2. So like I said, the one I drew out in my other video was 16, and that was Lights Out in Lincolnwood. Let's see which ones I get this time. What are the odds? I got number 17. 17 is The Help, which I'll grab in a second. And number 27, which is Darling Rose Gold. So let me grab those and I'll be right back. All right, so book number 1 is going to be Lights Out in Lincolnwood. Book number 2 is going to be Darling Rose Gold. And book number 3 is going to be The Help. I will take you along this week as I read and let you know how far I get. If I do get to all 3, that would be great. If not, I guess I'll read them next week, but we shall see where I get. I will also rate them and let you know how I'm thinking about them, but we'll see. So this is day 2 of the weekly reading vlog. I read some last night and I ended up getting to page 100. So far, it's good. It's third person kind of, and it switches between 4 main characters, which is a family called the Altman family. You have the mom, who is kind of like an alcoholic and is struggling through those kinds of things, and her name's Jen. You also have the dad, who's Dan, and he's a lawyer turned screenwriter, so now he's kind of writing movies and really struggling on ideas and how to keep his family together. And you have Chloe, who is 17 years old, and she's your basic average 17-year-old who has insecurity issues and is struggling with everything a 17-year-old is struggling with. You have the little brother Max, who is going through his own thing of trying to get revenge on a enemy who kind of like stole his friend group and pushed him out. So those are your 4 main characters of this book. I've just, on the back it says this, but I've just made it to the turning point, I think, of finally getting to like the real plot of this book. My goal today is 200 pages, so we'll see if I make it there or not, but we'll see. Okay, this is day 3, Wednesday. I managed to read to page 157 yesterday, and I'm gonna keep going today and see how I'm feeling. So far, I actually really like it. I think third person's throwing me off a little bit. I think the author's doing a really good job of making it flow well and making me able to understand their personalities and what they're struggling with and everything. So I don't think it's too terrible. He does a really good job of explaining. It's also a really deep book so far. Like 2 of the people deal with some sort of an addiction. So if that's a trigger warning for you, definitely don't read this. And I feel like I relate to all of the characters in some way. So that's nice to feel like I know what they're going through. Especially like there's a girl named Chloe and she's 17 and I feel like she's like exactly how I would have acted at 17, of like boy crazy, but not too crazy that she's gonna go after him. She kind of wants him to go after her, and like I feel like I definitely would have acted that way at 17. am officially done with Lights Out in Lincolnwood. My official review, first let's start with how many stars I rated it. I personally rated it at 4 stars. Do I think every single person is going to read this and rate it at 4 stars? No. I think this caters to a specific audience. I personally love stories about what happens when the world is ending, or what happens when you... Hi, sweetie. Bye, sweetie. This felt so real to today's world. Like, this felt like exactly what I thought would happen if this happened in the real world. Is this written in a third person point of view? Yes. Did I personally like it in this book only? Yes. I think the author did a great job of explaining the feelings and really connecting you to the characters, even though it was in a third person. There are 2 characters in this book that struggle with some sort of addiction, and I think the way that he wrote this was absolutely true. If you have ever struggled with any sort of addiction, whether it be something like drugs or alcohol, or something as simple as overeating, or I don't even know what else, but if you've ever struggled with any sort of addiction or addictive personality, you will connect with this book. Or if you've experienced someone else who has, this book will open your eyes to some things. I absolutely loved this book. I think the only thing keeping me from a 5-star is the ending isn't what I was wanting. It isn't how I wanted it to end. Now, this next part is going to be a little bit of a spoiler, so if you haven't read this book, or if you're planning to read this book, please don't listen, because I am kind of going to spoil a little bit of the ending now. So skip ahead to whatever time's on the screen and you won't know. So basically the ending is one of those endings where it's open to interpretation. It doesn't actually conclude the story. It's made to basically you to think about it. You'd be like, oh, interesting, they did this, so now what would happen if there was a second book, or if this world continued, what would happen? And personally, those are not my favorite kinds of books. I don't really want to think about it. I want to know how the book ended. So that's the only thing keeping me from this being a 5-star read, I think. So far, not a bad start though to the 3 books that I'm trying to read. A 4-star is really good. I definitely recommend, if anything I said about this book sparks your interest, please go get it. I thought it was great. It took me about 3 or 4 days to read, but overall it was great. Okay, y'all, it is now Friday and I finished Darling Rose Gold, so I'm gonna give you my thoughts and opinions on it. Personally, I think I'm only gonna rate this like a 3-star, maybe 3.5. Like I think I've said in the past, this is based off of the Gypsy Rose story, and so knowing that some of the story was a little predictable, which I get it, but this book didn't have me hooked until like chapter number 20. All the chapters before that were very detailed, and I liked getting to know the characters a little bit, but I don't think I was very connected to either of the characters for a while. And the author gave so much detail that I think for a while I kept guessing what was going to happen next, and it wasn't, I don't know, for a novel that was supposed to be a page turner and thrilling, and I don't know, I wasn't getting that vibe. Now, chapter 20 came, I think, around that, and there was a couple of moments where I was like, oh, wait, what? Like, what's gonna happen? That was interesting, but I really wanted a good ending. I wanted the ending to be like, oh, wow, I can't believe it. And I personally guessed the ending after a little bit and kind of knew what was gonna happen. So it wasn't so, I wanted something like jaw-dropping. I wanted to like be like, oh my god, I can't believe that happened. And I really didn't get that from this book. So I don't know if I would recommend this book, really, which is bad because like I did like it. It was a good book, but it wasn't, I probably will never read this again, if that makes sense. Like, it's not something I'm gonna go back and reread. Now, I will say that the author, I think, is really good. Some of her writing I did like want to highlight and want to remember because her detail was really good. Like I said, it was very, very detailed, and I really liked that. Now, this is the first book I've ever also listened to on audiobook, so I don't know if that had anything to do with my connection to it, but that's how I feel about it. Now, today I did start The Help, and I'm also listening to that on audiobook a little, and also reading it a little. And I've seen the movie, and if you have never seen the movie, you have to read the, it's a must-see movie. So go see the movie. But so far it is starting off just like the movie, so I think it's going to be very similar to the movie, and I loved the movie, so I think I'm going to love this book. Yeah, anyways, so I think I'm gonna love this. I will let you know when I'm done with it, if I actually loved it, and you can see what I rate it over on Instagram. I think this is gonna take me a little bit because the audiobook's like 18 hours long. I think this is gonna take me a couple of days, and I probably won't read it this weekend. I'll probably just listen to it at work on Monday. So that being said, if you want to see what I end up rating it, go follow my Instagram, because on there I post every single book that I read and my ratings to it, and if I recommend it. So go check that out. I have loved filming this and letting you see how I read and what I read in a week. Getting 3 books off my TBR felt so freaking good. So I can't wait to keep reading. I filmed a couple book hauls, and so I got more books. Are we surprised? Not really. And so I can't wait to keep reading and diving into different things. If you have any book recommendations that you want to see me read, please let me know in the comments. I would love to hear from you. And I just hope that you have a blessed week. I hope the Lord blesses you in so many different ways. And I cannot wait to hear from you on any of my social media platforms. And I cannot wait to see you in the next video. Bye.